Hi everyone, I'm here with a very special guest on board Scenic Eclipse today, Captain James Griffiths. Hi James.
Hi James, nice to see you.
Can I call you James or is it
Call
Captain?
me, I've been called a lot worse than James. So.
Right, can I call you Captain?
You can call me James. That's more
James is the ex-captain of Scenic Eclipse and has been involved with the project since the very beginning. He's now the Director of Marine Operations across Scenic Ocean and Emerald Ocean. So just tell us a little bit, James, about the vision of Scenic Eclipse. You know, where did it start and where's it going to?
Well, the story behind this is that Scenic's founder and chairman, Glenn Moroney, was in Australia, in Sydney, one day in Sydney Harbour. And Sydney Harbour is an amazing location, as you know, one of the best cruise ship places you can go to. But in Sydney Harbour, he saw a super yacht that belonged to Paul Allen. And he basically there and then decided, well, why is it only Paul Allen gets to have a super yacht and people like that? So the idea literally came that we would build a super yacht that can be available for everyone to go on in this sector of the market. So that was the genesis of the idea. And from there, we developed it that it wasn't just going to be a super yacht that would just do, warm water itineraries. It turned into the idea that we would have a discovery yacht, and really what a discovery yacht means is a vessel that can go everywhere and see everything. So as the idea developed, it turned into this, ultra luxury 6-star vessel that we have now with the Scenic Eclipse, but is also able to support, submarine operations. Is the first cruise ship in service to have permanently 2 helicopters on board. And then in addition to that, full polar code compliance, which means that the ship is ice classed to 1A Super, which is the highest of the Swedish-Finnish ice classes. That means that the vessel can literally explore from deep below the Antarctic Circle to within a few hundred miles of the North Pole. So it's a very unique ship that really combines a lot of elements from the super yacht sector in terms of not just the way that it looks, but in terms of the interior design. But it's underpinned by being, an exceptionally strong and well-engineered ship as well.
Okay. And you've mentioned a little bit about how she looks. She's a beautiful looking vessel, beautiful looking yacht, but also you've gone into a little bit of detail about some of the differences between Scenic Eclipse, because her beauty isn't just skin deep. It goes a lot deeper than that.
Well, that's right. I think something I really like about the Scenic Eclipse is, when I first saw the CGIs going back many, 2017, 2016, and Scenic started releasing the CGIs of the vessel before it was even constructed or before the plans were built. But the owner was so, and the company's been so strict to say it has to look that way, and it really does have to be a super yacht. Whereas a lot of ships in the initial design phase, they look really exceptionally amazing, but actually when the realities of trying to hit all of these technical points come in, the way the ship looks ends up changing. But as I said, to me, that's one of the remarkable points about Scenic Eclipse is that it's managed to maintain, this exceptionally beautiful super yacht profile, while also combining, all of this polar code stuff, full commercial certifications. I mean, it isn't a super yacht. It is classed as a Class 1 passenger vessel, so it complies with all of the rules and regulations of any other cruise ship and exceeds the vast majority of them. But it also has this incredible polar strength as well. So the beauty isn't just skin deep; it is underpinned, with some incredible technology behind it as well.
Yeah, and from a customer point of view, I think one of the things that came to me when I was listening to your talk and the one from Jason is, that you really focus on giving customers time back. So what technology is in place to give people that time back?
Well, the Scenic Eclipse, she's 17,500 gross tons. In the polar regions, we carry 200 passengers, and that gives us the highest passenger to space ratio in the industry. And a ship of this size traditionally would be carrying 300, 400, 500 people minimum, and would still probably call themselves a premium or luxury cruise ship at the same time. But in the polar regions, the number of people that you go with is critical. It dramatically changes the experience that you can have. If you go down there with more than 200 people, you're into the realms of multiple landing, multiple rotations of guests. You know, the maximum number of people that you can put ashore in Antarctica is 100 at a time. So if you go with more than 200, you're going to have to rotate 3, or maybe some vessels going 400, you've got to rotate 4 times. So that means that you will go to a single site, you will spend all day there just in order to rotate people out. And as a guest, you're going to get a very truncated and limited experience ashore. But on board the Scenic Eclipse with 200, you know, we're able to put 100 guests ashore, and then the other 100, when they're not ashore, they're going to be doing helicopters, they're going to be doing a submarine, they're going to be doing Zodiac cruises, they're going to be doing kayaks. So with us in Antarctica, your day is going to be filled with activities in Antarctica. You know, we're not going to be keeping you on board and asking you to, you know, attend a napkin folding class. You know, that's not why you go to Antarctica. You go there to get out and really see this incredible location. So with us, you'll get a lot more exposure to Antarctica. And it isn't just Antarctica, it's all of these discovery destinations that we go to. You know, we could easily have configured Eclipse to carry more people, but it's more about being able to offer the best experience. And you know, with us, that 200 really is the magic number. You know, it's the ideal number of people to take on a ship this size to these incredible remote locations. So yeah, you know, if you travel with us to Antarctica, you will do more and you will see more, because also these bigger ships, you know, they just can't go to the places that we go to. You know, they don't have the ability to fit through these narrower passages. You know, they just won't push as hard into the ice. They don't have the time to do it. You know, they need to go to single places and spend all day there just to get everyone through. But with Scenic Eclipse, you know, we can take time out of the day to really explore and to go to new places. And in fact, you know, in our first Antarctic season, you know, we were the first ship to get down to Captain Island. We saw emperor penguins on our maiden Antarctic voyage. We were the first ship to go visit the world's largest iceberg, A68 Alpha. We were the only ship to get to Vortex Island in the Weddell Sea. You know, we went down below the Arctic Circle before almost anyone else. You know, so we're not just talking about what we can do, we've done it. You know, we actually know that we can deliver this stuff. And that to me is a unique point. It is not, you know, we're not really competing with the vast majority of expedition operators who literally just focus on a very limited part of the Antarctic Peninsula, for example. You know, we're opening up the full gambit of it, whether it's the Weddell Sea or Antarctic Circle being south of it, which is very significant. And going forward, you know, we're going to be able to break the season up into 3 sections. You know, in the early part, we will focus on the Weddell Sea. In the mid-season, we'll do a sort of classic mix of Peninsula, Danko Coast, and then in the end of the season, we will actually say we will go south of the Circle. And previously, not many people have been prepared to commit themselves in that way, but we know that we can do that and follow through with it as well.
Fantastic. And obviously Antarctica and Arctic, they're sort of the headline destinations, the bookends, I think it's been described as before. But what about the middle?
Well, this is this is such a great question, actually. And you know, I've been in the polar region expedition business since 2007 when I started working for National Geographic Lindblad. And really, you know, they have a great product and a great company, but you know, they always had a bit of an issue. Is, you know, they're so focused on, they were so back then, they have changed a little now, but they were very much focused on the polar regions. There was always a little bit of a question about what you do in between, because the ships are so configured for polar activity that the warm, you know, the summer, if you like, is a little bit tricky. You know, when the Antarctic season finishes in April, you know, what you really do between then and you know, the Arctic season starting. So there's about 4 or 5 months in the year. It's always very, very weak, really, for traditional expedition operators. But as I said, the Scenic Eclipse is just as at home, you know, a few hundred miles from the North Pole or south of the Arctic Circle as she is in Monaco, or in the Caribbean, or in South America, or Norway, or the British Isles. And we can use our helicopters in a lot of places as well. We can do, you know, A to B transfers, we can do heli hiking, we can do heli biking, we can even arrange heli golfing. If we're in the UK, we've looked at landing helicopters on golf courses. You know, our submarine, we've done incredible diving in South America and in the Caribbean. So our product is defined by region. So, in the polar regions, we have our sort of full-on discovery product, which is where we have, over 20 staff. We're totally configured for expedition. And then we also have, our cruise product, which still offers the helicopter, the submarine, but also an amazing selection of traditional, land tours that are all included, also all inclusive, obviously. That allow people to see the more traditional cultural elements, whether it be in Northern Europe or the more relaxed elements in the Caribbean. So, we're able to combine, the very best of traditional cruising in the more traditional cruising regions, alongside, providing this really cutting edge sort of expedition discovery product at the poles. So the ship, whenever you join Scenic Eclipse, you can be guaranteed you're going to have an amazing, very, very high end, very tailored, very unique experience with just 200 other people. And I think, post-COVID, people are looking at this even more closely now than they were before. Ships were just getting so big with so many people, and it's such a. And I worked on ships like that for over 10 years, so I know what they offer and I know what we can offer, and it's just so different. It's really an incredibly different experience.
And you've also got, real environmental and sustainability focus as well.
Absolutely,
James.
Absolutely. This is so important to us. We these days I'm in charge of marine and technical, as you said, and compliance. But we actually operate what we call beyond compliance. So we're not just looking, at what the rules are. We're looking at what the rules will be, and also to even exceed that. So there are so many things that we do. We're only burning the very lightest grade of fuel on board that contains 95% less sulfur, for example, than what traditional cruise ships are using. We've got exhaust gas heat recovery. We've got active emission treatment systems. Our ballast water is treated before it's loaded and discharged. We've got active energy conservation, so we're taking heat out of exhaust. We're monitoring electrical load. We are not anchoring anywhere. We don't use our anchors. We're always using dynamic positioning because we're not wanting to drop anchor or chain on delicate seabeds. And the ship itself is also ultra efficient. She looks amazing, but that also means that the hull is very fine, so we can actually achieve great fuel efficiency underway as well. And all of this in addition to the standard stuff that comes with a brand new ship like this. Zero discharge. We don't discharge anything into the sea at all. No solid waste. And in fact, all of our wastewater is treated to the point that when it's discharged, it is essentially clean fresh water. And obviously that's tested monthly. And a lot of operators now are wet leasing ships, so they're just renting ships essentially from a central ship owner and putting their name on the side. And that's a very good model for many people. But in Scenic, we own the Scenic Eclipse and the Emerald Azura, and we don't just own them, we operate them. So we have full control over absolutely every aspect of our operation. And that, to me, in my experience, is the only way that you really get to set the standard yourself. You're not beholden to anyone else. It's the way we operate is the way we want to operate. And if we want to put environmental at the very heart of what we do, we can do that.
Yep. Okay, great. I mean, sounds absolutely fascinating, and it's just great to hear some of the more technical aspects of the ship. Now, we started the conversation at the very beginning. You were involved in, the vision, the initial vision of Scenic Eclipse. Where's that going to take us? How many Scenic Eclipse ships are we going to, or yachts are we going to see over the coming years?
Well, exactly. And, Scenic is such a unique company. It's such an exciting company to work for. We also build our own ships as well. So we don't just own and manage them. We actually have a shipyard in Croatia where Scenic Eclipse 1 was built. And, we have a major concession within that shipyard where we're currently building Scenic Eclipse 2. So with Scenic, we even design our own ships, we build our own ships, and then we operate our own ships as well. So the flexibility that we have to just adapt to the latest in technology or the latest trends, or the ability to improve as well. I mean, Scenic Eclipse is a remarkable ship, but obviously anything that you do for the first time, you learn a lot of lessons, and all of those are going to be incorporated into this ship as we dry dock the ship and we improve the ship, and also our amazing Scenic Eclipse 2, which is coming out next year, end of next year. So we currently have Scenic Eclipse 2 in build, which is a sister ship to Scenic Eclipse 1. which will, have very many of the same things, the helicopters and the submarines, and the same super yacht look. And beyond that, yeah, there is intention to scale even more within the Scenic brand on ocean. And of course, we have Emerald as well. Emerald Azura is coming out end of this year, and we very recently announced the Emerald Sakara, of course, which is coming out 18 months after this as well. So there's a lot of intention to scale our ocean business based on the demand that we're seeing, and this niche that we're in of this discovery ultra luxury side with Scenic, and then the demand that really hasn't been taken up by anyone on this 100-person ships with Emerald. So yeah, we see a lot of potential to scale both brands over the next few years as people start looking at the environmental footprint of cruise ships, and perhaps deciding that they don't want to spend their vacation with 6,000 other people potentially, and they'd much rather do it in a much smaller, more boutique environment, and seeing these incredible places. And I think a lot of it, this is not a floating resort. A lot of this is about education. It's about seeing this stuff firsthand. And we really genuinely believe, I know Jason, my colleague, the manager of Discovery, believes this as well. We turn people into ambassadors for the places that we visit. We're not, we have so many amazing people on board in all the regions that we visit, from the poles to Central America or the UK, real experts in their fields. And people will go away with a much deeper and more fundamental understanding of these areas if they travel with us, and will leave ambassadors for Antarctica and conservation in that area particularly. So it is a very luxurious high-end experience, but it really has that educational aspect to it as well, if people want to engage with that. And it's so exciting. We have a fully open bridge, for example, on Scenic Eclipse, which a lot of operators don't have. So you can go up to the bridge on this ship pretty much any time, speak to the captain, speak to the deck officers. And when we're in Antarctica or the Arctic, and you're having to make the itinerary up as you go, being able to just go to the bridge and be part of that process. When I was
just on that point, there's actually a settee in the bridge.
Yeah, there is literally.
And the captain said to me, "If you come up, I'll make you a coffee as well." How welcoming is that?
Will, yeah. And Jason used to be Discovery leader on here when I was captain, and very often him and I'd be on the bridge, and we'd be, we want to go, I want to go here, let's sort of arguing about where we should go next. And there are passengers there, and they see that interaction about how hard the team work to give them an amazing experience. And I remember once we were in the Weddell Sea, and Jason was there with me, and we were thinking, should we go west in the Weddell Sea? Who knows what we're going to find? Or should we play it safe and just go and around the other side? And we thought, oh no, we're going to do it. And, we pushed so hard to get to this location, but when we got there, we managed to do an ice walk. It was just incredible. We were so glad that we did that. But the passengers that were on the bridge were so psyched about, they could see, wow, these guys are really pushing it to give us this incredible experience. So we're not running a bus service here. It is a very bespoke product in all regards. And that isn't just in the poles, it's even in the cruise. Our people really will go above and beyond to accommodate what people want to do. And we've got an incredible team in the helicopter department as well, and the submarine department, who are so passionate about what they do as well. So I think people, when they come on the ship, they really see the passion that's behind Scenic and Emerald.
Captain James, it's been an absolute pleasure. I know you're a busy man, so thank you for giving up your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.